talk. So we're almost a quarter of the way through the season, I'd say. Yankees been a bit of a skid, but they're still 2.5 games up in first place. I think that has more to do with the shockingly bad American League East so far this year. How do you feel with the Yanks so far?
It's just frustrating. Like you mentioned, the 2.5 game on Boston right now for the East. We should, we've blown five games in the eighth.
Let's say we win
later.
3 of those.
3 of those, yes. We would have a
23 and 13.
5-game lead. Our record would be looking better. A lot of, I know Williams has been catching a lot of the heat, but I feel like Boone has been catching a lot of the heat too. But Boone shows time and time again that he makes just these horrible decisions. I want to take you back to the game Monday night against San Diego. So Fernando Cruz comes in the 7th inning with 2 outs. He throws 2 pitches. He gets the out. Boone moves off of Cruz to Devin Williams with a 3-run lead in the 8th. And Boone's reasoning for it was that Devin Williams pitched 2 innings on Saturday, 2 days prior. But then Tim Hill, the same night on Monday, went out and pitched a full inning. On Saturday, he pitched an inning and 2/3. So I feel like he's just feeding people an excuse and being like, take it. Like that's what you get. I don't know. It's just frustrating because he does this all the time. And he almost, from a fan's perspective, feels like he's talking down on the fan who is
intelligent,
giving him a hard time. Where Yankee fans aren't dumb. Like, we know baseball, and like, I don't know, I've been watching baseball my whole life. Like, I feel like that's just a sorry excuse.
Yeah, my thing that's frustrating with the Yankees is if you look at their run differential, I think they have the 2nd or 3rd best in the league, and their record should be better if you look at run differential. So they're front runners. When they kick teams' asses, they win by 9 or 10 runs. But I feel like they've lost so many winnable games, whether it's blown games or games they just were a hit or 2 away from winning. Until yesterday, we were 0-16 when trailing in the 7th inning or later. That's pretty bad. Yeah, and I don't know how that happens because I get, like, of course, hypothetically, when you're losing in the 7th inning or later and you're trailing at any point, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah.
But we haven't had one comeback win later on.
Yeah,
in the game.
and I remember
yesterday.
I know a lot of people have been bringing up that point, and then it felt kind of refreshing to have that game yesterday. And I mean, the Yankees just poured it on, 10 runs in that 7th inning.
I feel like that's all this team does, though.
They batted around.
It's either they're all going or none of them.
Yes,
unless it's Aaron Judge.
And also the good is really good and the bad is really bad. I know. We put out a post today that Volpe's been heating up in his last 10 games, batting about 300, and even Wells the last couple games has been heating up. But for the most part, it's been like Judge, Rice, Goldschmidt, not much else. And in the pitching department, it's been Fried, and then as of late, Rodon, and not much else. Clark Schmidt looked really good last night, and Fernando Cruz out of the bullpen has looked really good. But even Weaver's been a little up and down.
Yeah.
And Devin Williams has just been horrible.
Awful. Just this guy sucks. I mean, I can't believe how bad he is. He's almost getting to the point where he's unpitchable.
He is unpitchable. But again, to my point about the San Diego game 1, he shouldn't be in that high of leverage of a situation.
It's 3-0 high leverage in the 8th inning.
But the way he's been pitching, the way he's been getting hit,
he's got to be better.
You should. Cruz has given up 3 earned runs all year. You should keep him in. He threw 2 pitches in the 7th. Keep him in the 8th. And then yesterday, after we pour on the 10-run inning and we're up by 9 runs, that's when you bring Devin Williams in.
I get your point about, like, blaming Boone, but how could you blame Boone when this guy's been so bad? Boone thought he was getting one of the best closers in baseball. You're still going to try to find ways to get this guy back, and he actually had a 2-3 game stretch where he looked decent. I'm not mad at him for that. This guy's just got to be better.
He does have to be better.
He's unplayable almost.
And if you look at all his metrics, like his fastball's down like 1 mile per hour, but everything else is pretty much the same as it was last year. So what? Maybe it's
a mental thing.
No, maybe it's just been a fluke. Him being good last couple years has been a fluke.
He can't pitch in New York to me. I think it's seriously you're gonna have to consider that this guy cannot handle the big lights. It's not like he chose to come to the Yankees. He just got traded here.
He thought he was going to get traded to the Dodgers.
Well, how would he have done better there, first off? I guess it's a little different.
They're a lot more fair weather,
what,
honestly.
number 2?
But they're I don't know.
It's a
LA
little different.
LA
LA.
fans
They're
are
celebrity fans, so
LA
it's a little
fans are
different.
pretty
You're
fair
right.
weather.
You're
I don't
right,
know.
actually.
But
They're not
it's not even that the market. It's not the point of the market I'm trying to make. Is I don't think he wanted to be in New York. I think he wanted to be in LA. I don't know.
Then let's trade the guy. Like,
but what are we gonna get for him? We're not gonna get
anything. You have to take the L, honestly.
Yeah.
Which they're not gonna do yet. Of course, you have
Of course not.
Couple months until the trade deadline. You're gonna try to get this guy back, but it gets to a point where this guy's gonna start hurting your team. How is it
start
every
hurting the
year?
team?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. He has already hurt the team. We've lost what? Purely, how many of those losses are just on him? I don't know off the top. Are all 5?
That's
I don't know if all
a good
5 are.
question.
I mean,
don't
they
know
might
off the top
be.
of my head.
We've lost so many games just because of him, and it's ridiculous. And I don't know how this happens every year. I feel like whether it's Clay Holmes or Aroldis Chapman the years before, are we just cursed because since Mariano Rivera left? I'm starting to think that.
Well, comparing any pitcher in the history of baseball to Mariano Rivera is just unfair to that pitcher.
But it's not like so like Clay Holmes, I'll give them a little pass for it because not Clay Holmes.
Clay Holmes was a project, and they turned him to a really good reliever.
We've tried to get these the star closers, and it just has not worked.
Chapman was really good for.
Chapman was
2
awesome
years.
for a bit, yes, but he choked in the biggest moments.
Yes.
That's the worst part of it. And then,
but also Houston was stealing signs, and that Altuve home run. So
he also gave that home run against the Rays that we lost Game 5 of 2020.
I mean, the thing that
was
really
on the Yankees, but the Rajay Davis.
Yeah, the thing that really frustrates me about Chapman was the way it ended. What was it? The 22 playoffs.
When he
refused to go to the workout or whatever, and then he was left off the roster. That's what frustrates me with Chapman. But when he was good, he was really, really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yankees should be so much better than what they are.
They should be, and I don't know. I know I made that TikTok the other day about Gleyber Torres and was talking about Jazz Chisholm. I'm not saying that we should have Gleyber Torres right now. I'm saying that you look at those two guys and they have their own problems. Torres, it's not hustling, whatever. Jazz, I feel like his approach is bad, and him going tweeting and then him going and tweeting during games, and no one in the Yankee organization is held accountable.
It's kind of funny the way. Okay, so
and what is this on Judge for not being a good captain? Is this on Boone for not being a good leader? I get it. These guys are adults, but Torres was 21 when he came up, and no one ever held him accountable. Jazz is coming from a bad situation in Miami. Seems like he needs some guidance, and no one's putting their arm out to.
Jazz Chisholm is clearly the Kevin Durant type guy who reads all the comments about him online.
Yeah,
clearly he's got to be that type.
Because he can't stay off Twitter. All he does is tweet.
It's bad.
Like, you can't be tweeting during a game. You should know better. I am a fan, and I know that players aren't allowed to tweet during games.
I just don't get how these guys are on social media. Like you gotta just stay off that stuff, man.
Like, you can go on, say whatever you want.
Have a burner.
I mean, people that call professional athletes that get caught up with burners. I don't. Like, I obviously it's not a big deal, but like, I don't know. I feel like they catch a lot of
Durant. That's the number
him
one.
And the guy at the 76ers.
Oh, that was the GM. That was Eldon Brand, the GM.
Yes.
That's a crazy one too, when he was talking down about his own players. But the you know what's kind of fun? So I'm still very anti. We shouldn't have brought Torres back, but the way he's produced offensively compared to Jazz, it's almost like they've swapped. In a way, Torres is hitting less home runs, has a higher average, which you kind of saw last year towards the second half of the year into the postseason. Jazz is a home run or nothing guy, and I don't. Too many guys in the Yankees are like this, dude.
Yes, and that's why the production we've been getting from Volpe is nice. It's refreshing because he's playing the way we thought he would be playing. In his last 10 games, it was the stat I pulled was that he's hitting like 333. He only has 1 home run, but he has 5 doubles.
I don't need the home runs.
Yes,
on this team,
you don't need the home runs. You need someone that can find the gap and be a doubles machine.
So, all right, what's more important to address? Third base or starting pitching for the trade deadline? I'm kind of leaning starting pitching.
Yeah, starting pitching for sure.
We're
because
really lacking it.
A third baseman's not going to win you a game, but a starting pitcher can win you a game.
I think they're going to choose starting pitching over third baseman to dress because they just caught Cookie Carrasco. Will Warren, he's just like, look, I don't mind his stuff. He has moments where he looks good, but he's not as reliable.
And he doesn't really have confidence.
No.
Third, I feel like Oswaldo Cabrera at third base is a fine option for now. I think
I want to address it still.
I think George Lombard could get expedited and be up next year, and
Next year.
I think that's what they're waiting for.
Oh, that means you're going into. Okay, look, we're talking. Sounds like down the Yankees, but I look at the American League, man. They should win this thing. Look
Yes,
at look
they
around the
should.
American League, dude. It just does. The AL Central. There's 3 teams. I just briefing. There's 3 20-win teams. None of them scare me. The American League West. You know what team's actually pretty good? The A's,
Yeah,
which is surprising. The Mariners up there.
I saw
and
something
Boston's hasn't been great at all.
that they haven't. I saw something that the Yankees should look to trade for Luis Severino, get him back,
Imagine.
because I mean the A's ultimately are gonna just probably implode on themselves.
Yes.
They always do. But I find it interesting that even in this past offseason, I feel like a lot of the talk around the Yankees, and it's been heating up this past week, is about next offseason. I don't know,
20 like
the
2025.
2025 offseason going
Yes.
to 2026.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been a talking point even since like this past December.
It totally
Obviously-
has been.
Obviously, Michael King came
That's a
back to
rumor.
pitch against the Yankees the other day, and that really heated up some discussions. I've been seeing this debate online: if the Yankees only have the money for one guy, will they go get King or will they go get Kyle Tucker? Like,
Oh, I would prefer Kyle Tucker.
but
Dude, Kyle Tucker's awesome.
my point,
It's different money.
it is different.
They
money.
should go
and
all
Kyle,
out
and-
for Kyle Tucker.
Well, Kyle Tucker, I can't even
Kyle
talk
Tucker.
today. Kyle Tucker might get $500 million, $400 million, and Michael King will probably get like 200.
Yeah. So I saw
But-
a report about King. I think I sent it to
Go.
you where King King could go back to the Yankees and he wants to be on the East Coast. And I asked an anonymous source about this who has connections, and he said I've heard that too. I'm gonna try to get more about it, but
Okay.
he's not that close with the
Well, yeah, yeah.
because the source was that Michael King's wife wants to be back in the East Coast. That's what
Okay.
John Heyman. I read a whole article about it.
That's your source?
Well, John Heyman. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, you're right. But I asked someone we know who has
Yeah, yeah.
connections, and
but-
he doesn't know.
But like to my point, I feel like next offseason has been a talking point more than even like what's in front of us right now, which is this season or the game tonight or the game tomorrow. Like,
You're right, which is just frustrating because this team, I really think this team's going to win the American League again. I watched them. Their offense has been surprisingly really good, and the pitching, I think their pitching concerns won't be as big of a deal because you're going to have Max Fried pitch, who's looked awesome, who is going to win the American League Cy Young if he keeps this up. Carlos Rodon, who I don't love as number 2, but hey, we're hard on the guy when he's bad. We got to give him credit when he's good.
yes,
He's been
and,
awesome.
And if he's
recently.
like how he has been the last 4 starts, he might get himself in the Cy Young discussion.
yeah, he's not going to
But
keep that
yes,
up.
he's not going to.
Clark is a fine number 4 in the playoff setting. So what I would like to see this team do is go out the trade deadline and get a right-handed pitcher that's coming up to be free agent this year. So a Cease or a King. But I'm kind of skeptical
The Padres are going
won't
to be
even
too
trade them.
good to trade one of those guys. Also,
Even though they probably should because they're not going to re-sign them.
Yes.
But I want if this team. Like I've thought of this that this team's just going to do a last dance type thing, go all out because
And-
they're not going to be able to afford.
Sandy Alcantara has been really bad this year. He's like an 8
Really?
ERA. Yeah.
Okay,
Because I remember in the beginning of the year when
we were talking about.
and people were talking about him to the Yankees or the Mets,
Mhm.
and then I feel like that all just vanished. And I was just like watching something, and they were like, Alcantara has been really bad. He has like an 8 ERA, and now I just looked it up, and he does.
But what about Nick Pavelta? Is he?
Oh, Pivetta?
Yeah, Pivetta. I don't know if he'll be available.
I don't think he will, and he when he played for the Red Sox, he was really bad, and a lot of I watched this in a preview for their game on Monday. A lot of people attributed it to him pitching in the AL East and the hitter-friendly ballparks. So I don't think that's even a guy that would like size up for.
I mean, he's looked
Yankee
good.
State. He has, but
the
like
Padres,
but in the NL West, you're playing in like Dodger Stadium,
That's true.
San Francisco, the Padre Stadium. Those are much more pitcher-friendly ballparks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point with him. I mean, I just want to see a right-handed pitcher added eventually, because like I said, I think their pitching struggles are depth, which in the playoffs it doesn't matter as much. Of course, you have 3.
Also,
You have 1 awesome starter and 2 reliable ones, I'd say.
so like we talk about playoffs and looking ahead. That's another reason why I think Boone's decision to pull Fernando Cruz after 2 pitches is head scratching because he's saying that he doesn't want to overwork the guy. But when you get to the playoffs,
bullpen's everything.
Your bullpen's everything, and you're gonna have to overextend some guys, and it's like you can't hold guys back in that situation.
I mean, they might have to add bullpen.
You have to be ready for that
because the bullpen's been a struggle. They've just losing them games, mainly because of one guy. But you might have to add to it.
Yes, but Fernando Cruz has been one of the guys that's been really good.
They should pitch him more.
And yes, they should exactly. They should pitch him more, and they shouldn't pull him from games after 2 pitches. They should put him back out there.
That's frustrating to see.